Greetings Scorpios, welcome to your August reading with me. Namaste and a very warm welcome. Hey, thanks for joining me guys from wherever around the world you are viewing this. We are using 3 different sets of cards for the reading. This first lot, 4 from this deck, the Rider-Waite Tarot, will be generally directing or giving us messages about all aspects of the reading, including those of career and finances. So we will see what is in line for you guys, Scorpio. The 3 of Wands reversed, the Ace of Swords, the 9 of Swords reversed, and the 8 of Swords. Okay, we've started off with a few reversed cards, an ace, which is good, and a couple of what we call the more, sort of like emotional sword cards where we find things like anxiety or depression, areas like that, and the reverse 3 of Wands. These cards here are dealing with health anyhow, so we will see what these come up with for you. These are the Healing Chakra Energy cards, and I have designated 2 from here to deal with health issues. And remember, health covers off all aspects of life, including emotional, physical, mental and spiritual. So Scorpio, let's see what's in store here for you guys. We'll see if we can bring a bit more brightness and lightness in with these cards. Personal boundaries, that is number 16, and it is the solar plexus chakra area, and your second one is the third eye chakra, which is exactly where it is, in the third eye, in between the 2 main eyes of your forehead area. This last deck is addressing relationships. These can be any relationships, work, family, love and romance, anything that captures your mind or your ideas or whatever needs to be addressed in the month of August. Walk away, spring, and ask for what you want. Let me just realign the camera a little better with the cards that are there. I will try and focus as best I can. I may, throughout the reading, realign on certain cards. So let's start with those tarot ones that arrived with 2 reversals and 2 the right way up. No major arcanas but an ace. 3 swords. So swords are often about communication or our intellectual perspective or our thoughts and thinking in life. If we look at that 3 of Wands to start off with on the left at the top, it's usually denoted as talking about perspectives of career or something that you're passionate in life about, that maybe your hobbies, or where you spend a lot of your time focused on. So we often do think of career, but for some people this can be your arts and creative inspiration in life as well. So it often covers off fields where people are directors or writers or composers or artists or designers of some sort as well. Now the fact that it's reversed is actually not a problematic thing at all. It can often give us insight into our career. So he normally, when he's upright, he is pondering his future, about broadening his horizons, expanding possibly his business or changing direction in his career, but he doesn't quite know how to do it, and he's not necessarily having all the information and perspective. Yes, he wants to broaden out and look further afield, but sometimes he is short-sighted or blind-sighted, and he's not taking everything into consideration. So when the card is reversed, it can mean the opposite, so that you might suddenly get an insight or some sort of impasse, or allowing you freedom or more movement than you expected. Sometimes this could mean something like an accolade or an appraisal that's gone well, or an opportunity for an increment in wages or salary, or you might even be thinking about starting a new business and have a door open for you unexpectedly. You might come into contact with new people or leads that can take you down the right road. So in fact, it's quite a positive card being turned up the wrong way. And if you see right next to it, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Swords is attached to it. So they've kind of separated themselves off in that top row. Now the Ace of Swords is often about receiving something at the behest of something else. So it can mean new endeavours or new ventures or success due to letting go of something else, or signing off on something else, or finishing something from the past. Oftentimes this Ace of Swords can turn up when we see the dissolution of a relationship or a business or something like that previously, and then you are making way for this new business or opportunities or cohesive partnership coming in. So it feels for a lot of you there is a possibility here where you may be offered something from someone else that makes room for a viable transition into a new opportunity, whether it be career or something you're passionate about, or say you're an actor or a writer or a musician or something, you might be asked to come on board with someone else, or you might have a new idea. I think those two pairing up like that are really quite good positive omens. I do think that when the Ace of Swords is there, we can also see things like documents signed, contracts formed, and obligations taking cohesive shape, also through the realm of communication, and that's what I mean as in written documentation. Definitely for some of you, you're forming something new after you've left something behind, or you're creating an extension of something that you already are part of, but it is growing and expanding, and possibly with the help of other people. So if we come to these two other cards over here on the right, these two here, the reversed Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords, they do both talk about a little bit of anxiety and worry and inner stress. So again, they can be things on our mind that we're concerned about. Now the Eight of Swords on the far right is often linked to us being overtly concerned or locking ourselves into a corner due to our own thoughts and continual mind chatter and worry. But it tells us there's a way out if we take that blindfold off and move forward with a bit more insight and lack of fear and desire to find new ways out of situations. But the reversed Nine of Swords, it does give us caution about we can sometimes be worried at night, and this can come to us in dreams or keep us awake. So there could be insomnia for some of you. However, some of you might be making a breakthrough in these areas as well. So you might be finding insomnia that you could have had for months or weeks might be abating a little bit in August. And this could be, of course, after the eclipses have passed. You might be able to find some answers to things, or your mind might be a little less active, and you might be finding periods of calm where you can either meditate or find a way to relax at night. However, the other meaning of the reversed Nine of Swords can mean that there could be people around you to be cautious about. So going back to that signing of documents with the Ace of Swords, be careful who you are making new alliances and partnerships with. Make sure you trust them well and that they have good reputations. The Ace of Swords could also just be signifying that you are definitely backing away from a previous relationship that was not trustworthy and was causing financial difficulty, or could have been associated with your career. So there's two quite separate perspectives of these cards, and it's interesting, I feel that, because they've also separated themselves with that line down here. Let's move now down to the next row, and we see these are your health cards that I talked about. Now we've got these bright patches of light shining on them, and there's nothing I can do about that. But we come to the first one, number 16, and it's called Choice, Assertiveness, Empowerment and Authenticity. And its overall name is Personal Boundaries. It's in the solar plexus chakra area of your body. And if you move out to your whole reading, you have a lot of this yellowy gold colour coming through, and this is about strength and personal strength and regaining balance in that area. So if that part of your body is out of balance, the chakra, the solar plexus area in the stomach, it could mean that you have lost some self-confidence, that you are not trusting of yourself, that you aren't trusting your intuition, and that's what the third eye is all about as well. For some of you, that will be tied into this emotional kind of area of life, which we've noticed up here with these sword cards. They're to do with emotions such as anxiety and depression and worry and fear, you know, the negative perspectives of life. So when we get blockages in these parts of our body that correlate with an anxiety or emotions, or there's discord there, like when we have a blockage, the energy can't get out. It can't move up and down the body to create ideas and concepts from happening. It stops it all. So by disallowing the blockage and allowing free flow in, we feel relief. We feel the more positive actions in life. We feel movement and stimulation and creativity. Now you can do these by various ways of allowing flow in, by strengthening your physical body in the core, exercising, sit-ups, walking, running, bench presses, planking, things like that. Also eating yellow foods or wearing the colour yellow, meditating or having healing or Reiki sessions, things like that. And that also for this, it's the same type of thing, the third eye area. And I notice you have in this card here a woman looking back at us in the lens, and we are talking about also the third eye. And you're getting that quite clearly looking at you back through the camera. Now, the third eye is similar in as much that the solar plexus is our gut instinct in life. That's where we get that innate inner feeling of, do we trust a situation or a person or not? And the third eye is also our intuition area. Do we trust something? Are we listening to our higher self? Are we aligned with our higher self so that we understand the pathway forward? Are we connected at the higher realms to accept, you know, celestial messages or cosmic messages coming in, white light energy, protection, you know, raising the vibration? They're both so tunely connected, these cards, so they're sort of talking to me and telling me that at the moment maybe you Scorpios aren't getting into your psychic awareness enough, or some of you aren't, because you're very good at that. You know, your whole synergy of being a Scorpion is connecting with the psychic realm and the afterlife and the understanding that there is more to life than this plane. And when you don't make those connections, especially for you guys, things might fall a bit flat and you don't have as much awareness or opportunity coming to you. So strengthening both of those chakra areas and allowing the flow will help get things moving in all parts of your life. If we come back to the physical perspective of this card here, it might be suggesting that some of you need physical clearing in that area. Some of you might have stomach issues like ulcers or hernias, or problems with food and diet and being blocked up and having things like constipation or bowel or irritable bowel syndrome. They may need to be looked at physically by a doctor, and you may be told to change diet or do more exercise, or something along those lines might be happening for you in August. And with regards this one in terms of a personal health perspective, and it's to do with our eye area, Also covering off things like the sinus and the ears. Some of you may have problems relating to those parts of your body where you might find you need glasses for the first time, or there are issues with your eyes. Some of you might be getting laser eye surgery, or some of you might be having your eyes beautified and having, say, an eye lift, or, you know, surgical procedures for youth and having something along those lines. Some of you might have ear problems and need hearing aids, or ears unblocked, or shunts or something to do with that. And your sinuses, some of you might be suffering allergies that need to be looked into. So your autoimmune systems might not be working quite right. Those are kind of the health messages that seem to be coming up with those two particular cards. And I do think they're very linked, both at the intuitive and the psychic perspective, and also even at the physical perspective, but because we're seeing her face quite clearly and the area of her eyes as well. So moving back out, and we will look down here at the last row of cards for you guys, which I said was basically around relationships. So the first card you got there was walk away, and it said leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. It's interesting that on the very top row where we had that Ace of Swords, I talked about the fact that it could have been relating to the dissolution of a previous combination or relationship status, such as a partnership or a collaboration. So it kind of does suggest to me that you are perhaps ready to walk away from something, or you're being advised to, and this could be to your betterment, because you could expand from this. And we see that with this two cards up here combined, kind of talking about expansion, and possibly in the realm of partnership or business related matters. But of course, for some of you this could be more personal, and it could be things such as a romantic relationship, like a divorce taking place, because the Ace of Swords can turn up when we see something along those lines as well. But if that is the case, it almost feels as though if you are leaving a partner or a marriage or a long-term relationship behind, it feels as though you are moving away completely, as in maybe moving to a new area to live, or going to a new part of the world or the globe. Also considering the fact that you might even change your job due to it. So there could be a whole bunch of things tied up within your relationships that are also tied up within your career or job, or how you earn your income. But I think when you walk away, also you could relieve these things that are going on up here, these sort of anxiety feelings or worry, or the feeling of not being light and free and happy. So there is advice here about leaving something behind. We're also got a timing here, and it says spring, and it said your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, that would actually take you right through to next year, in the earlier parts of next year. And for the Southern Hemisphere, that's in our September, October. So if this is a long-term situation or plan that is taking place, it may take that many months for it to either be finalized or to be settled, or to even manifest as a logical or cohesive plan for you. So it could be something that's cropping up kind of right now, and it could be due to or partially enabled through the eclipses, because these eclipses we're having in July and August are very powerful. And they're sure to set a lot of things asunder and make what was stabilized for a lot of us in a lot of areas quite destabilized. So the timing card could well be just saying to you, you know, you've got a few months worth of work to go through, to sort things out, to get procedures in place, to decide that it will definitely benefit you, and then you might be able to see all of the benefits taking place by spring as well. Also, this last card, we're talking here about more flowers blooming, and there are flowers in this one blooming as well. And it said, let the universe and other people know what you want or what you need. And it says, ask for what you want. So in terms of relationships, don't forget to ask the universe to help you out or support you. You can ask for this on a daily basis. And when you're really connected and your third eye chakra is, intuitively engaged, you'll get a feeling more of what's right and wrong or what's coming. So any of your celestial helpers are able to help you out with your requests. And until you ask them to do that, they will have to just sit back and wait. But remember, when you ask for something, it's really important to always show gratitude afterwards, because that's part of the procedure of asking. So when you receive something, or even before you receive it, acknowledge the request with deep gratitude, and you have far more likelihood of achieving success. So it's kind of saying to you guys, if any of you are unhappy with a relationship phase of your life, whether it's the fact that you're looking for a romantic partner, or you're looking for deeper, closer bonds in friendships, or you're looking for a different working career situation where you will enjoy it with more like-minded people or new relationships in that manner, ask for it, seek it, and look out for it. Be aware of opportunities coming. And you can be aware of situations like that when you have these things, your gut instinct and your third eye chakra really operating perfectly well. Also, when I think about it, your personal boundaries card here is also suggesting to you, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and set your personal boundaries. Utilize your strength and know that we all have the right to say no if we feel we are being mistreated or abused or not respected in any way. And that again is coming back to relationship values. So regain some of your personal inner strength and stand up for your rights as well at any level of your life. And I forgot to mention in the very beginning, I did have some words for you that had been channeled for you. And yours were, I have the power. And so that's really funny that the personal boundaries card is about regaining power, personal power. And you also had a message from Sandalphon, and it was called evolution. And evolution is the cyclical change of life and the constant movement and growth of where we're going and where we're headed. So there we are, Scorpios. I hope you have enjoyed this reading and that some of you find some really helpful tips and advice from within it. So thank you for joining me again. I wish you all a really strong, powerful month of August with lots of evolutionary change and insight. Thank you guys. Much love. Namaste.